Hey everybody, today we're going to be talking about Maldraxxus, the 4th realm we'll be visiting in the Shadowlands expansion. If you enjoy these lore videos, please like and subscribe. Maldraxxus represents the heart of the Shadowlands military might and is ruled by the Necrolord Covenant. It is the home to beings like necromancers and abominations, but not everything here is evil. Relentless, warlike souls who are willing to strive against one another for greatness are welcomed here by the Necrolords. And the greatest among them are reformed by the necromancers into undead soldiers who defend the Shadowlands against external forces and wage war on the enemies of death. The determined rise to positions of power, while their less promising become fuel for Maldraxxus' weapons. This brutal selection process has created a vast militia with a wobbling hierarchy. The realm's longtime leader, the Primus, has vanished, and 5 of the most powerful Necrolords now fight for the role of advancing the cause of death throughout the cosmos. This realm is the birthplace of necromantic magic, and home to forces of the Scourge, who were called upon by the Lich King and transported to Azeroth. Maldraxxus is a realm of unending conflict, a place of brutality and bravery, where the Chosen are forged by the fires of war to answer a great calling, to protect the Shadowlands against any force that threatens its infinite realms. The first ones who shaped the cosmos knew they needed to protect the Shadowlands from external threats and beyond. This zone was their answer. Like mentioned before, this realm and its covenants was once ruled by a being known as the Primus, but he has vanished. The Primus was the most tactical and long-thinking of the Eternal Ones, a master strategist who was nearly unbeatable on the field of battle. In his absence, the leaders of 3 remaining houses now ruthlessly fight one another to claim the seat of the Primus and the position of commanding the armies of Maldraxxus. Before he disappeared, he left behind cryptic messages and prophecies concerning the coming of one who would embody the might of Maldraxxus and save the realm from itself. The Primus devised a system of great houses, barons, and eternal war games to weed out the weak and allow the army of the Necrolords to continually improve. The Primus himself used this time to hone his tactical and strategic skills beyond mortal constraints. It is said that he once sought out an unknown ally who would show him the infinite time ways and allow him to observe the same battle over and over again to see how slight differences in strategies and troop deployment would change the outcome of a conflict. After eons of such study, the Primus could instantly assess any situation and devise the likeliest path to victory. The Sepulchre of Knowledge contains all of the military writings of the greatest minds of Maldraxxus, overseen by the Primus. He also played a role in the imprisonment of the jailer in the Maw. After having detected hints of his treachery, at some point he began noticing that the jailer's influence was seeping outside of the Maw, suspecting that he was working with allies. The Primus left Maldraxxus to investigate the matter, leaving the Margraves and the Barons of the realm to their own devices. However, due to his tactical genius, he foresaw a time when the Shadowlands would face grave peril and could only be saved by someone from outside the realm, so he left behind a trail of messages and boons to help mortal outsiders set things right. This is the last the people of Maldraxxus ever saw of him. At one point in the recent history of Maldraxxus, there were 5 houses in the realm. The House of Constructs, the House of the Chosen, the House of Eyes, the House of Rituals, and the House of Plagues. Together these houses formed a Necrolord Covenant. They forged the armies that served the first line of defense of all the realms in the Shadowlands. In Skull and Bone laboratories of Maldraxxus, strength is rewarded and weakness cast aside. Necromancers experiment on the souls of the ambitious and contentious, reforming only the greatest into undead soldiers who protect the realm. But with the Primus disappearing, this covenant is falling apart, with the houses now going at each other to earn the right to take over as Primus. The House of Plagues is one of the 5 houses, but its seat was destroyed at some point before the events of the Shadowlands expansion, and the house is currently struggling to survive. Every house of Maldraxxus has 2 barons, but for the House of Plagues it is not clear who the barons are. But their leader was Margrave Stradama, before the seat got destroyed. It was believed that Margrave Stradama was destroyed in an explosion that brought down her house, but in truth it transformed her into a monstrous new form, driving her mad, leaving her at the heart of a fallen House of Plagues. As players, we'll be facing off against this Margrave in the Plaguefall dungeon. The House of Eyes once made up the second house of the Necrolord Covenant. It was filled with those who fought, lived, and died by their wits and cunning. It was a tenacious and cunning force in Maldraxxus, and was the intelligence arm of the zone, gathering intel in the worlds of the living and the dead. But this house got destroyed pre-Shadowlands expansion, but we get to see it happen in the Afterlives Maldraxxus animated short. This house had some notable members, however. Lady Vashj, who after her defeat in the Serpent Shrine Cavern in Outland, got sent to Maldraxxus and worked here to atone for her sins. Interestingly enough, Vashj could have chosen her Night Elf form in Shadowlands, but she chose to keep her Naga form, because it was in that form that she was recognized and rewarded for her cunning and resolve, as opposed to being a simple handmaiden only valued for her beauty as a Night Elf. She currently holds the title of Baroness. Another soul that ended up in the House of Eyes is the soul of Draka of the Frostwolf clan, mate of Duratan. After she died, when the Frostwolf clan got killed by Gul'dan's guards, her soul ended up in Maldraxxus, where she became a cunning rogue for the House of Eyes, eventually earning the Baroness title. The House of Eyes was led by Margrave Akarek. Before the fall of his house, he sent Vashj to investigate suspicious behavior in the House of Rituals, following the mysterious destruction of the House of Plagues. Akarek suspected that Maldraxxus' purpose was in peril and sent his protege Draka to deliver a vital message to the House of the Chosen. Shortly after she departed, the House Necropolis exploded, taking Akarek down with it.
I believe the House of the Chosen still stands with us, and I trust you to deliver this to Maldraxxus. Now, go. And Draka, be watchful.
My brothers, I am on urgent business.
The House of the Chosen is one of the remaining 3 houses that rule Maldraxxus. Filled with countless champions, this house is one of the last holdouts against the Jailer's insidious campaign. This house has 2 barons, Draka and Alexander's Mulgrain, and is ruled by Margrave Crexus. Following the destruction of the House of Eyes, Draka arrived at the House of the Chosen to give Crexus one final message from her late lord. The message stated, "I offer the key to saving Maldraxxus." Draka was confused by this, saying that Akarek didn't give her a key. But Crexus realized that Draka herself, being an unyielding warrior and master spy, was a key to many things. The Margrave told Draka that their enemies would strike soon and they had to be prepared, and that was when he bestowed her with the role of Baroness. The House of Constructs is the 4th house of Maldraxxus and the 2nd house of the remaining 3. The purpose of this house is the creation of necrotic constructs, abominations, and their ilk, to populate the armies, overseen by Baron Antolite and Baron Hallis. However, as of late, their Margrave, Garmal, has been serving a very different master, the Jailer, and has been using this house to try and invade Bastion. The final house that makes up the Necrolord Covenant is the House of Rituals, filled with sorcerers, necromancers, and liches. This house is the afterlife for those of a magical bent, who thrived in war. One of these souls is the Lich Kel'Thuzad. The barons of this house are Baron Ninadar and Kel'Thuzad, but with Kel'Thuzad betraying this house to work for the Jailer, a new baron had to be chosen, Baron Balmadar. They now aid the adventurer on their travel through Maldraxxus, led by Margrave Sindane. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Maldraxxus was by far the region with most information already out there, so I really enjoyed doing my research and creating this video for you all. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one in 2 days. Goodbye!